Atlanta news first. Plus, starts now with First Alert Weather.
First Alert meteorologist JD Disherin here with an update on your forecast and what you can expect as we head into the next several days. In fact, dangerous heat, as you can see on the screen here moving in, still forecast across most of the area as we head into your Wednesday. And thankfully, it doesn't look like it's going to be lasting as long. By Thursday, temperature will slowly start to come down, but by Friday, I think we're going to settle into more of a summertime weather pattern, which could linger into next week as well. So overall, here's what you're expecting over the course of the next few days in terms of temperature. We're going to be looking at 95 degrees for tomorrow, 97 as we head into Tuesday, 98 on Wednesday. Then temperatures, as we mentioned, will start to fall down to about 90 degrees as we head into Friday. Now, again, we kind of mentioned this yesterday, looking at which days are first alert days. And remember, yesterday, Wednesday, and Thursday look similar. And you may have been wondering, well, why aren't they both first alert weather days? And now you see that Thursday's come down. And yesterday we didn't pull the trigger because we just didn't have the confidence there. And good thing we didn't, because it looks like really that we're going to be trending that way as we head in towards the cooling trend by Thursday and on in towards Friday. Now you may be looking at it and go, well, what about Tuesday? Tuesday we may actually pull the trigger on. We're looking to see if the moisture is going to move in, and that's what we're going to be really kind of timing this out on. If the moisture moves in a little bit early, and I'm not talking showers and storms, I'm talking humidity, we could be reaching that dangerous threshold Tuesday as well, particularly in east central Georgia, including the Athens area. But for right now, we're basing that first alert weather day on when does the heat index become dangerous. And that happens at 105 degrees. And you notice our feels like forecast is 98 for Monday, 102 for Tuesday, so still below that threshold. And Wednesday's the only day where we have that threshold being met with 107 degrees. And that's why we have that first alert weather day, because that heat index does enter that dangerous realm. And then starts to go down 101 on Thursday. And even though the heat index is 90, I should say the temperature is 90 on Friday, still enough moisture in place with showers and storms across the area that we could see that heat index spike up to 99 degrees. So even though the temperature is going down, it's really the heat index that's going to be a much slower retreat as we head into next weekend. Now, tomorrow's heat risk, this is a measure of the, impacts of the heat on the population. Once we get to moderate, that's kind of like saying heat sensitive groups kind of beware, start taking those precautions. Major, more and more of us are starting to be impacted. You can see that major category extends from the metro area east to Athens and over into South Carolina and north up in towards the Lake Lanier area. But look at Wednesday. This is our first alert weather day. You can see we get to that extreme category, a 4 out of 4 for metro Atlanta and the Lake Lanier area. And I think that's probably going to extend out into Athens too. Athens, I think, will be a little bit hotter than the rest of us as we head in towards the middle of the week. And once we get to that extreme category, that 4 out of 4, everyone is impacted by the heat in some form or fashion. It's also the time that those of us who don't have air conditioning, and yes, there are some folks in the area that just, don't have AC. That's the point where we're, A, not getting cool enough overnight to give you any relief, even with the windows open, and B, box fans and, other devices that push the air around aren't really doing any good either. They're just pushing that hot air around. So for those who fall into that category, now is the time to go ahead and start planning for the very least Tuesday and Wednesday. If you can, to find alternate arrangements, there will be cooling centers open around the area, or if you have a loved one that you can go stay with, that would be the time to do it. The other group of folks that really have to pay attention to this, those who work outdoors the majority of the day, large portion of the population does that as well. The drill. This isn't, uncommon for you in the summertime, but Wednesday's that dangerous day. So lightweight, light-colored clothing, hats, glasses, sunscreen definitely, and more importantly, hydrate yourself. And then take your shade and your AC breaks if you can. So taking a live look at the radar right now, the first alert radar is staying relatively quiet. We do have one thunder shower at the very southern end of Randolph County over in Alabama. So folks over near Roanoke definitely hearing the lightning, or hearing the thunder, seeing the lightning. And we have a few spotty sprinkles around. But for the most part, we're staying relatively dry out there. Now going into tomorrow, even less of a chance of rain than the bare bones rain we're seeing out there right now. It's just going to be hot, 95 degrees, 97 on Tuesday, and then that first alert weather day at 98 degrees on Wednesday. So here's the big picture. Tomorrow we have that heat dome just really over the center of the eastern U.S. The eastern 2/3 of the population of the U.S. are impacted by this. And it really is a dome of high pressure. In fact, the atmospheric shape actually resembles a dome. That's kind of why we say that. And it's high pressure, an upper level high, in addition to the surface high, is helping to give us, sinking air. And that sinking air compresses, and compressed air at the surface heats up a lot quicker. As we mentioned in the last few days, so I'm not going to harp on it too much. It's also the opposite of what you need for rain, which is rising air. So that's one of the reasons we're going to be staying in a relatively dry period. But notice by Wednesday, so we kind of saw this in the last graphic, that red is the heat dome itself. It's still in place, but by Thursday and especially on into Friday, it really is starting to push back out over the Atlantic Ocean. Even the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic states are starting to get a little bit of a reprieve from it. And then as we head into the weekend, we're going to definitely see a bit of relief from that as well. Our almanac for today, 93 degrees is the high, 76 is the low, about 5 degrees above average for this time of year. And we're still, even at this 8 o'clock hour, holding on to 89 degrees with the dew point of 65. Winds are out of east-southeast about 7 miles an hour, and that's giving us a little bit of a gentle breeze, but still not a lot. And a lot of folks are still quite warm for this time of day. 88 in Eatonton. It's still 91 in Rome. Thankfully, folks in the North Georgia mountains have cooled down quite a bit. 2 hours ago, it was 91 in LJ. Now it's down to 81. 87 in Canton, 85 in Covington, 84 in LaGrange, 86 in Thomaston. And you'll notice here inside the perimeter, temperatures are going to fall back into the mid-70s overnight. That's very similar to what you woke up to this morning, and that is on the milder side. Actually, it's downright warm, and we're going to be noticing a very muggy start to the day. Once you get outside the perimeter, we'll be looking for upper 60s to lower 70s. This kind of heat pattern, you can definitely see that heat island effect and that urban heat island effect around the city. So we don't typically cool down anywhere near as much as the rest of North Georgia. So that's why most folks are a good 5-6 degrees cooler as you wake up for tomorrow. By the afternoon, though, we're all misery, mid-90s for the most part, maybe a few low 90s up into the North Georgia mountains. Notice even Helen, though, climbing up towards 94 degrees. Eatonton and Athens are going to be our hot spots as we go through the next few days because of that dome of high pressure really is going to be centering in on the Carolinas as we head through Tuesday and Wednesday, and then up into the Mid-Atlantic states Wednesday into Thursday. So it's really going to be our eastern areas closer to the center of that high that see the highest temperatures. But don't get it wrong. We're all going to be hot as we head into the middle of the week. Again, that heat risk for tomorrow, most in the metro, Athens, Covington, Gainesville, Lake Lanier, looking at that major, the rest of you under that moderate risk. And then as we head into Tuesday, even warmer. Eatonton looking at 100 degrees, 99 in Athens. This is one of the reasons we're considering pulling the trigger on that first alert weather day. It just depends if the moisture moves in and we can get that heat index above 105. I think we will, actually, for those east central counties that I was just pointing out. Again, here are the high temperatures topping out at 98 on Wednesday before we start to fall off. That first alert weather day due to the fact that we have the extreme 4 out of 4 for Metro Atlanta and Lake Lanier, but also for the fact that we do have that heat index topping out at 107 for the middle of the week. If it seems like I'm saying the same things over and over again, I am, and it's for a reason. It's because this is dangerous heat. We can't say that enough. Heat is the number one killer, weather-related wise, in the United States. So this is something you need to take seriously and just kind of be aware of it, especially for those of you, as we mentioned, who may not have the privilege of having air conditioning or have to work outside. Now, notice your 7-day forecast. By the time we get to Thursday, Friday, we do start to get those rain chances back in. So we do have to wait until the back half of the week before we start to see that chance of moisture move in and really help to relieve us from some of the highest of the heat. Now, as for tomorrow, we're going to be looking at temperatures, again, topping out at 95, but your first alert forecast shows even by noon, we're pretty much at 90 degrees already. So the majority of the afternoon and early evening will be in those lower 90s for your actual temperature. And then we're going to be even warmer as we head into Tuesday and then even warmer into Wednesday. So look, Wednesday, we're going to be talking temperatures upper 90s to low 100s across the region. And then, even though we have a slight chance of rain on Wednesday, that 20% coming with the humidity, that's helping to increase that heat index. Look at Thursday. 96 degrees, but also a 40% chance of a shower storm. So that showered storm, if it kind of moves over your area, you may not even get into the mid-90s. You'll still be very humid. Keep that in mind. But then we quickly fall back to near 90 degrees. Our average by that time of the year is going to be 89 degrees, so we're pretty much spot on for that. And we're going to be seeing a 30% chance under mostly sunny skies for your Friday. Friday's also our Braves on Gray Day. That's when we partner up with the Atlanta Braves. You're going to be heading out to Truist Park. It's going to be hot, but nothing out of the ordinary for this time of year, so that's some great news. Hopefully showers won't affect the game. If you're going to be at home, hopefully in your own AC, kind of watching it, you can catch it on Peachtree TV. Now, heading on in towards Saturday, another 40% chance of showers and storms. This is a really typical summertime pattern that's going to be setting up, and that's good for us after what we're going to be seeing during the middle of the week. We're going to be seeing those temperatures up near 90 degrees, but a 40% chance for showers and storms in the afternoon, and then we'll be seeing a 30% chance on Sunday with your temperatures still right about 92 degrees. The other thing to keep in mind, look what happens after Wednesday. Our morning lows start to fall off. Yes, the lower 70s are still very mild. They're still very muggy, but they're not the mid to upper 70s that we're going to see Monday night into Tuesday morning and Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So at least we'll be getting some relief on that end as well. Now, if you're going to be heading out, maybe beyond your Friday, that's where we're going to be seeing those temperatures in the upper 80s to lower 90s. Yeah, going in towards the week after that, that's what's leading up to the 4th of July. So we do have the extended outlook for that time period. So this is June 30th through July 6th. Fun fact there, July 6th is my birthday, if anybody wants to celebrate with us. But more importantly, July 6th is that Sunday of the 4th of July weekend. So this forecast does include the entirety of your 4th of July weekend, and it does show temperatures trending a little bit above average, as most of the southeast will be. So just kind of keep that in mind. Even though we may not be as hot as this weekend, temperatures, though, in the extended still going to be trending a little bit warmer than average as we head into, the first week of July. Overall, though, the summer outlook for the southeastern United States, this is for your June, your July, and your August. Even though we're already done with June, we still got July and August ahead. It's still on track to be warmer than average compared to what we would typically see. So just kind of keep that, in the back of your mind. It looks like we're going to have a pretty warm summer ahead. As for the forecast, we'll be updating it later tonight, 10 o'clock on Peachtree TV, 11 o'clock on Atlanta News First, and tomorrow morning, Ella Dorsey, Courtney Jacobazi, and Rodney Harris are all going to be back on air, online, on the app, and streaming with the latest updates on the heat wave that is headed towards the southeast. Otherwise, have a beautiful evening and have a blessed night.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.